Okay, welcome back to this video in Kwandanamatatu. We're looking at Unit 23 in this video, and we're going to look at there's a few different notes, but let's just dive right into it. Note 23.1 is the plural affix inna, in or inna, and what to know here. Let's start off with the point that it's usually prefixed to the word man, which means who or what, and it indicates the question refers to multiple persons or things here. So this is going to be, we're looking at questions and we're looking at plurality, plural persons or things, and this prefix is attached to that word man to indicate that. We've actually seen this before too with personal and demonstrative pronouns, like with ante, which is a second person masculine singular, right? Which means you, male or masculine. You add in to the beginning of that, it becomes innante. Another example is asu, he, third person masculine singular, becomes innasu, they. Yih, this, becomes innazi, these. So this, we've seen this prefix before. It could also be used with the preposition ka, in which it means including or with, and with the example that they give here, Kanilajochu Mata, he came with his children. It can be prefixed to names as well, or titles to indicate group membership, such as Anato Kabata Suk, the store of Mr. Kabata and Associates. It can also be used to indicate that the person is accompanied by others, such as with the example, Anato Kabata Matu, meaning Mr. Kabata and his group came. And note that when inna is prefixed to the subject, the verb is going to be in the plural. So as you can see with these examples, Innaman Matu, Innamanin Taukala. Well, with the first example, innaman matu, who came, that's the subject, so it's in the matu is in the plural, but in the mannin with that direct object suffix, that's not the subject, so it's a direct object, so it doesn't take the plural. So you see that taukala, second person masculine singular. But that third example, again, we see innazi soyoch, these people are, is the subject. Innaman nacho is the question, so nacho there is in that plural, third person plural. So just note, when it's the subject of the sentence, the verb is going to be in the plural. So that's 23.1. Now we look at 23.2, question words. This is going to have a few subparts. It has 4 subparts to this section. So this first section, they give you just some question words. These are words that we've seen before in previous units. Okay, in this first subpart of 23.2, we look at the word man, which means who or what. And as you saw from the sentences above, it can be used in questions referring to persons, animals, or things. The direct object form is going to be mannin. So remember that direct object suffix there at the end. As in the example, Manninnawim, whom did you see? And then they have some examples of the word man being used with various prefixes. And so just keep in mind that you can use a variety of different prefixes with man, such as laman, wadaman, silaman, indaman, kaman, kamangar, baman, yaman, and so on. And then we saw the form indaman, the plural of man, discussed in 23.1. You can also use man, that duplication, and we'll see this in a later unit as well. We've seen it before in a previous unit, I think unit 12 or 14, where that double use of the word kind of indicates a kind of plurality. So man here just indicates a plural. And the last note there is that in the man, you can use those interchangeably. But the one difference is that the answer to, as it says here, the man question is a complete enumeration of persons or things referred to in the question. Whereas when you're using inde, the answer can just refer to one person. So they give you a couple examples to illustrate that distinction. In the first case with man, who are these people? So the idea is that you're going to detail out who every single person in that list as part of the answer, because that's what the question is getting at. Whereas if you just say who are these people, it's not you're not asking for details about every single one. You're asking just about kind of the whole groups or something that can be used to describe the whole group. So that's the distinction there between man and inde, and that covers it for this first subpart. And we now go into subpart 2 of 23.2, min or mindin, which is what? Mindin is used with verbs with the verb know only, and min can be used with all other verbs. So that's one distinction to keep in mind. Also, there's a distinction between the question minno and mindinnaw. So with minno, it's the equivalent to the English what happened. Mindinnaw is equivalent to the English what is it. That's a distinction to keep in mind there. Minno, mindinnaw. Then we also see, again, plural here. The regular form, plural form minnoch, and then also min can be used to indicate more than one thing. And so whenever you see that, you know that the answer, it implies that the answer is supposed to include multiple things. Then finally, man and min may be used with noun suffix pronouns, as we'll see here at the top of page 274. Mannachu, so second person plural. Minnim, minhin, that's second person masculine singular. Yetinnaw, first person singular. So it can be used with noun suffix pronouns. That covers it for the second subpart. For the third subpart here, it's going to be pretty short. Covers the word yet, which means where. They give you a couple examples where it's used with various affixes. So just like with the word man, yet can be used with different prefixes. Ket, bet, indet, bodet, iskiet. That's pretty straightforward there. Now we look at subpart 4 of note 23.2. We're looking at yetu, which, yetinnaw, which one, Manninnawim, which one. The question, and as it points out, the question words yetinnaw, Manninnawim may be used interchangeably, and they could refer to both persons and things. But yetu is usually going to refer to things only. And again, that's pretty much it there. And then you look at a few examples here. Again, you can see various prefixes attached to that, and read through those examples and see how those questions are formed. But that's pretty straightforward there. And that covers the last of the subparts. So 4 subparts there for note 23.2. And now we go to note 23.3. We're looking at Manninnawim, Manninnawim. These are used interchangeably. They mean every, each, every one, each one. And what we see here is the direct object suffix, and you've seen that ending there. When you get a direct object suffix, it's going to come before that ending. So keep that in mind there. So in the example sentences, here we go. Yeah, Manninnawim. You see that there where it's Manninnawim. You add in the direct object suffix just before the ending, just slide it right in there. Manninnawim or Manninnawim. So that's something to just keep in mind there. And they give you also examples, again, where you can use this with other prefixes. Manninnawim, Manninnawim, and just like with man, just like with yet, you can have various prefixes attached. And that covers 23.3. Now we look at note 23.4. We're going to look at the words Mannim and Minimm. Mannim meaning anyone, anybody, no one, nobody. Minimm means anything or nothing. Both of these are used with negative verb forms. And the negative suffix, though, on the verb that it's used with may or may not be used. So as you see in these examples, you can either have Mannim al-matta or Mannim al-mattam, nobody came. Mannim al-nagran, Mannim al-nagranyam, nobody told me. So the suffix, the im suffix, may or may not be used. Next point to cover is that Mannim takes a direct object suffix, and it's infixed before that im ending, just like we saw in the previous note there. Here again, you'll see Manninnawim or Minimm. So when you see that direct object suffix, it's not going to come at the end of the word. It'll come just before the im ending. But Minimm does not take a direct object suffix, so just keep that in mind. Mannim will take it, Minimm will not take it. And now we're going to end the note, or end this unit with note 23.5 and looking at Minimm used with the prefix inde. And when that's used, it means no matter, somehow, by all means, anyhow, or under any circumstances. It's usually combined with gerund forms of the verb malet, which means to say, or mahon, to become. And we see here on page 277 some examples of how that's used, especially in that third sentence there. Inde Mannim below yetinnaw alafa. Below, you see the gerund form there of malet. And don't see one for mahon, but you see a couple other ones, belan, the. But those will be some good example sentences to review. And that finishes up unit 23. Thank you again for sticking with me through this. I hope you're finding this helpful. And then we're going to move on to unit 24 next. Thanks.